Well, hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you're on misplacedstraws.com where music comes to life. And my guest today has been on my radar for quite a while now with her unique modern take on the blues. But after finally getting to see her live on Slash's Serpent tour, I was blown away and knew I had to have her on here. Her current single is called Mother. She has an EP of the same name coming out in October. Please welcome ZZ Ward. Welcome.
Thank you.
So let's start with the Serpent Tour. I mean, Slash has really assembled some amazing talent for this touring blues festival. What's it been like for you just to be on the road with all of these acts?
It's just a real honor, It's like full circle for me. I mean, I've always loved the blues and it's always been incorporated in my music. And so I'm just such a huge fan of like a lot of these artists out here that are playing. I mean, from Robert Randolph to Larkin Poe to Kingfish and obviously Slash. I mean, so it's been such an honor. It's been awesome.
Well, as we had mentioned earlier, I caught the show at Foxwoods Casino here in Connecticut, and you were on in between Robert Randolph and Keb Mo. And a lot of the crowd there, they weren't necessarily blues fans, they were Slash fans there to see him. So as I'm
Hmm.
listening into the crowd in between sets, a lot of people were kind of wondering, they didn't really know you. They're kind of wondering what the vibe was going to be. I don't know if you noticed after your set, but everybody was on their feet. I mean, you blew that crowd away. Do you
Thank
approach a
you. That's so nice to hear it.
tour differently when the crowd may not be as familiar with you and you're going to have to win them over?
Yes and no. I think it's okay when you're on stage, whether you're winning them over or not. That I feel like what I've learned over many years of playing is to just really, be authentic up there with why you're up there. Like for me, it's like I love the stories behind these songs, and I love, especially on this tour, I love playing the blues. And so for me, it's like I want to be up there with my musicians. I want to have a great time and really play our best show every night. And I can't necessarily control everything. I can't control, what the vibe's going to be in the venue. It's different all the time. So I think that like, yeah, it's always different.
And I love this modern evolution of the blues that we're kind of seeing now. Artists like yourself, Gary Clark Jr., Fantastic Negrito, you guys sort of have that traditional blues core, but you bring in all of these modern flourishes around it. What inspires you to create your version of the blues?
I've always been asked like what are you trying to make something sound like? And for me, it's like it just has to like make me feel something, whether that is, empowerment. A lot of times it's empowerment or um, frustration or aggression or sadness. I want to feel, something from the music that I'm making. And so a lot of times, I just that's my first thing that I want to do. And I'm usually also just like, for me, I'm a storyteller when I'm songwriting. So I'm usually talking my way, writing my way through something. That's usually what I'm doing. I don't know how the other artists that you spoke about, like how they do it, but that's usually where I'm coming from. So that's kind of what I start with.
Well, it's funny, like on a track like Ride or Die from your Dirty Shine record, you bring in hip hop to the song. Have you ever gotten pushback from the
Hmm.
blues purists as to the things you add into it?
Um, no, I don't think I would say I've gotten pushback. I think that like there are people that love that, they love like the blend of things. They love kind of the genreless, influences of the blues and hip hop um and then there are people that just are more traditionalists and love the blues more. I think on some of this newer project I've tried to kind of really dive into that space a little bit more.
Mhm.
Just feeling like I had more freedom to just really really do that and kind of experiment with that. Um, and kind of, go back to my roots and really what's always made my music what it is. So
Mm. And I think the genres really moved forward a lot in the past 15, 20 years. There's a huge rise in female artists. There's a lot more diverse sounds. Now that you have your own imprint on Sun Records, do you feel a little more freedom to experiment with what's moving you at the time as opposed to a record company or a label kind of trying to guide it?
yeah, I mean, with where I'm at in my career at this point, I'm way more confident than I ever was when I was signed before. Um, I I went ahead and I made a lot of my new music with the idea of, you know, the ideas and the passion. And I took that and I went and kind of made that music. And then Sun heard it and they were like, we love it. They were on board, super passionate about it. And I'm so happy it happened that way because for me, then I really feel like they're really supportive of what I'm already loving that I'm doing.
Mm.
So I think I'm definitely more confident than I've ever been before to take the lead in what the kind of music that I want to make.
Mm. Well, and speaking of that new music, the reaction to Mother has been great. I mean, it really is sort of a centerpiece of the live set now. Your new single, My Baby Left Me, is out. Do you like the idea of putting out singles and EPs whenever the music's ready, as opposed to the old way of you need 12 songs and you have to put a record out every other year? Do you kind of like this newer way of EPs and singles?
Um, yes, no. Like I like that we don't have to like hold things back. Like we can put things out more frequently. That I love. But I am a purist. I love a good album. I love a good vinyl. Like I think for me, like that's an experience that I think shouldn't be ever taken away from, new music listeners as time goes on. I think
Yeah.
that it's something that I grew up doing was consuming a whole album, you know what I mean? And really feeling like you're, taking a step into an artist's world or where are they gonna take you? And I think that so the album for me is the most important thing. But I do love that we can put out, songs frequently and that's also really fun.
Do you like to test stuff out live before you record it, or do you the type of artist that wants it done and perfect, and then you'll bring it to the stage?
Yeah, I think because I'm like, I'm kind of a singer-songwriter at the core of what I do. And then like I'll bring a band, on the road with me and have them help me play the songs. I think because it comes from the songs more, I usually kind of go make sure I feel really confident in those songs before I bring them to a
Hmm.
live crowd. I think I could be wrong, but I feel like that way of doing it probably stems more from like people that are not sure what they even want the production to sound like on a
Hmm.
song, right? And so they're playing it live, they're seeing what works, what doesn't work. And so for me, it I like the space to do that. And I also feel really confident that for the most part, there are songs you do, and I've had this experience before in my career where you do a song and it doesn't work very well live. And sometimes it's hard to know what's going to work live and what won't work live. And so it's really interesting.
Hmm. So you have the new music coming out on October 4th, the Mother EP. You have your own headlining tour that kicks off in November. What do you see as your evolution? Where do you see yourself going? Are there artists you'd like to collaborate with? Is there, a certain venue or place that you want to play? Do you set goals as you go forward?
Um, yes and no. I think my goals have changed over the years. I think, I have two sons and I'm still making music. And every night I'm on stage, I feel so grateful and blessed that I feel so grateful. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
The venue, somebody popped in and said something.
Yeah.
I feel so grateful that I'm up there playing my songs and getting to do what I love while being a mother to my kids and my boys and being there for them at the same time. So for me, like, I just, I'm just so glad that I've been able to really be a career artist and an album artist. I just have albums coming out, and I continually have a fan base that consumes those albums and comes to my shows and gives me energy back. Like, that's really my goal ultimately. And so, and just to really be excited with the music that I'm making, I think is also very important to me. Like, I'm so excited about the new music that I'm making. I'm so in love with it. And I think that is so important because you can't expect anybody else to like something unless you love it,
Right.
and I'm crazy about it. So I feel like I'm sitting in a good place. Yeah.
And as we see now and on stage, you always have your trademark fedora on. What's the story behind the hat?
Yeah, well, the first song I ever sang in front of people was Albert King's "As the Years Go Passing By" on stage, and I remember being like super nervous to sing on stage. So I started wearing a fedora to kind of like be like the blues artists that I grew up listening to, like Big Mama Thornton um and Muddy Waters, and so for me, it was like and it would kind of give me this confidence that I could be someone bigger than myself or stronger than myself. And so I don't know, I just always done it since I was a little kid, and I just kept doing it ever since I started putting music out professionally. So
Yeah. Well, we've been spending some time here with ZZ Ward. The Mother EP is out on October 4th. Her headlining tour kicks off in November. I can't recommend your live show enough. Like I said, I loved every minute of it. You really controlled the stage. The audience had the response. So hopefully we'll get you back out here on the East Coast sometime soon. And best of luck on the record. Thank you for taking some time.
thank you so much. All right, have a great day.
You as well. Bye.
Bye.